welcome to Straight Talk. Our guest today is a very special one, Dr. Li Mengyan, the Chinese virologist who has said that the Wuhan virus was made in a Chinese government lab. Dr. Yan, welcome to Beyond.
Good morning, Paki. Thanks for having me.
You've created quite a stir with your claims. Why do you say that the Wuhan virus was made in a laboratory?
Okay, as I mentioned in my first report, and also I will stress the other thing from the next coming report, that the evidence left in the virus genome from the SARS-CoV-2 virus clearly show that this virus is not from nature, and it is based on the Chinese military discover and own the very special Zhoushan bat coronavirus, JC45 and JXC21 after the lab modification and become this harmful, highly contagious and lethal virus. So there are all the scientific evidence I presented in my two reports. Besides, I have other intelligence and based on my knowledge. So altogether, people can understand later that it definitely comes from the lab.
What about the bat theory and the link to the Wuhan wet market?
It means Wuhan wet market, so that is just a smoke screen from Chinese Communist Party. Because as I mentioned in the other interview that I was assigned to do the secret investigation about the unknown pneumonia in Wuhan from last December 31, representative of WHO reference lab in the University of Hong Kong. So from my investigation, all the things clearly found that there is no any animal evidence left in the Wuhan seafood market from the beginning. And the Chinese Communist Party, the government knew it, but somehow they clearly they cleaned the white market from even 1st January this year and just provide 33 pieces of the environmental samples from that market, and all the samples collected by Chinese government, not from the expert, not from the expert overseas. And then among all these environmental samples, only one sample from the water shows positive to the virus. But Chinese Communist Party government try to let people believe that animals are the host from the seafood market. So at the beginning, Chinese Communist Party government asked all the diagnosis tests have to be based on that history to this seafood market. That means if you haven't been to the market and you already get infected by someone who went to the market, but you cannot get diagnosis. And also they deny human-to-human transmission to cover it, and they change the number of the cases. Also, in the mid-January, 16 January, without evidence, already someone sent information to my lab, to my supervisor, WHO consultant, Professor Liu Peng, that try to investigate the raccoon dog. It may be the potential host. And as we know now, all these things are gone because they really cannot find out the host.
You've made some very startling claims, and you've said that they knew about human-to-human transmission. They knew that the virus had a high mutation rate. How much did the top levels of the Chinese government know at the time of the outbreak? Do you believe that President Xi also knew what was going on?
This is a Communist Party-ruled government. Trust me, these things all come to the top, and not only among the top people. For this kind of human-to-human transmission, at that time, although in early January, there were some experts from the headquarters in the China CDC coded to the journalists and also allow it to be spreaded. But the other experts in this field, including the doctors and even just the local doctors, they knew this is a lie because there are already family clusters happened in Wuhan in December, and also there are more patients than they claimed in December in Wuhan, and more evidence accumulated. So everyone has the knowledge get into that situation. They knew that is a lie, not only the high-level government officers.
So let me get this straight, Dr. Yan. You're saying that the government knew what was going on, that at the very top levels, including President Xi, was involved in the cover-up, and they hid the number of cases in Wuhan.
Yes, and also the people knew these cases, knew these situations, are told to be silent, because from even December 31, when I tried to reach to the doctors in Wuhan, and they are scared. They dare not to tell that even through WeChat or phone call, and that is a contagious disease. They just told people that don't talk about it and also wear masks. These are the things. And also in the mid-January, again, my supervisor, the Hong Kong WHO consultant, top coronavirologist, Professor Liu Peng, told me that be careful when I do the investigation. Don't cross the red line. If not, I will be in trouble and I will be disappeared. That's also how those experts cooperated with the Chinese Communist Party, including WHO, including the peer-reviewed journals, Lancet, Nature, all they together work together to push the nature origin theory to the public.
So you were told that you should not cross the red line. You've said that a WHO-affiliated lab was aware of the high mutation rate and human-to-human transmission, and they too hid the information. Was the WHO also equally a part of this cover-up, only this lab, or to the highest levels?
I can tell you that for the coronavirus expert, I mean, in my lab, previous lab, in the University of Hong Kong, that lab is the top one ranked by the Elsevier in the world, because back to SARS time and later MERS time and now the COVID-19 time, that's all the 3 times for the coronavirus, very harmful to people, lead to outbreak in our history. But my previous lab was the core team which fight with the virus and did a lot of great study. So these are the top bunch of the coronavirus virologists. They are behind the WHO, provide the technique, consulting the information, and also give them support. So there is no doubt that they already know the information. I respond to them, and they have established their own directly that page to the Chinese CDC, as I know, and also they respond to WHO. So WHO definitely know it because they rely on that to do the surveillance and to give the consultant.
You made startling claims, as I keep saying, I think. What does your report do to Xi Jinping's global image?
I mean, my first report, right?
Yes.
So my first report actually, because Chinese Communist Party and WHO and all their friends in the scientific world kept telling that let's use scientific evidence to tell people the truth of COVID-19. So my first report, based on the genome from the SARS-CoV-2 virus, let people to understand why it is not from nature, but from the lab. And it's like we analyze a human's fingerprint for the layman. So this is the thing cannot lie. This is the thing you cannot use a parameter definition to make it blur. So you just read it, you will see for the non-harmful bad coronavirus discovered and owned by Chinese military lab, later after the modification, and each step were very well applied in the publications published by the Chinese Communist Party influenced labs. And also with this expertise and the unique material, they changed the bad coronavirus, but also left the evidence of the modification in the genome. All these things together, I even show you in the part 2, how could they make it in within 6 months.
Right. Dr. Yan, I'm asking, what do you think this report does to Xi Jinping's global image? How do you think the Chinese government would have responded when you first came out with your accusations?
I don't know how exactly she's thinking now, but what I know is Chinese Communist Party tried to make me silence from even end of April, when they know I'm the one who delivers a message out through the Moody's broadcast from mid-January and kept doing that. So they tried to make me disappear, and after I escaped, within hours, the whole government knew these things, and the Hong Kong policeman, the Ministry of Security State in Beijing, and also my hometown Qingdao's policeman, they work together with the University of Hong Kong Vice Chancellor, Professor Zhang Xiang, with my alumni, with people they can recruit it, investigate my home, threat my family, and told people there is no privacy of me. And from the mid-May, and also, yes, the University of Hong Kong shut down my email and delete my profile, although I still in the annual leave at that time. And then later, in the mid-May, before I went to Fox News for the public presentation, they already spread the rumors online through the cyber military on Twitter, on Facebook, using the fake account with my profiles. And later, they tried their best to make me silent, which doesn't work. So when I try to publish my papers, first I choose to use a preprint bioarchive under the Cold Spring Laboratory. But that website, just before it published my report, get broke down. That is, we believe it is hacked. And I just turned to Zenodo, another online website, to publish my paper. And suddenly after that, Zenodo got attacked. And later, my Twitter official account was shut down immediately without any reason, just because I recommended my report. And a lot of other reports come out from New York Times, from Daily Beast, from National Geographic. I mean, from one way, they hold my mouth, don't allow me to talk. And from the other way, they bring some fake news with lies and clearly misinformation to draw people's attention from reading my report and into their hilarious conclusion. But I already showed the report online, so people can go to open access website to read it by yourself, verify it.
Right, so you know how the Chinese Communist state operates and how they would react. But were you surprised when Twitter also suspended your account for fake news?
Excuse me, can you repeat again?
My question is that you probably knew what to expect from the Chinese government, but were you surprised when Twitter decided to suspend your account, calling your information or your paper fake news?
I'm not that surprised, although they even shut down my anonymous another account which shares the same phone with my official account. That means totally they trick my IP and try to make me shut up. And also Facebook did it. But I already know that Chinese Communist Party and their friends, they are very powerful. They are very influenced. And that's not the first thing Twitter or Facebook did. For example, I complained about the fake account under my profile for months. No response from them. And also, they just shut down me, but they allow the other people like the Chinese minister like Zhao Lijie or Hua Chunying telling the virus come from salmon, come from outer space, come from US. So I'm not that surprised.
So you're saying that the Chinese regime is influencing social media giants to silence critics?
I think that is something now more and more well known by the public now.
Let's talk about your report, Dr. Yan. You've authored a 26-page report with 3 other researchers, but the scientific community has overwhelmingly rejected your report. They've called it unscientific and false.
Yes, I know that's their conclusion, but why I choose to publish it online is because I knew that would happen. Through peer review, through this kind of authorities, you see what they have done. WHO told people there is no human-to-human transmission, although they already knew it. WHO told people no need to wear masks, and there will never be an outbreak. And also they told people hydroxychloroquine is some very harmful drug without any effect would help to treat or prevent the COVID-19. All these things they like. And for the peer-reviewed journals, like Lancet, Nature, Science, count how many peer-reviewed papers was withdrawn because of fake data or other problems in the history. So this urgent time, people deserve the truth. Everyone has a right to read the report and to verify by themselves. I list the reason, I list how they did it. I list in the over 100 reference papers at the end of my report. You can trace it like the treasure map to say who have done these things before, who have using these traditional techniques to make such things and publish it and be the expert in the world. And you will understand why people in the scientific world who support the nature origin theory, who don't doubt anything in the nature origin theory, who can't keep silent, are so scared of this report. I don't mind their attack. This is not for me, not for myself. From the early beginning, I decided to deliver the message out. I know my life will be end at any moment, but I just want people to read the things to understand the fact. This related to you and your family and the people you care and the future. And the most important thing is how to end this historic pandemic from the beginning and in the future.
Right, but your paper is a scientific paper, and just playing the devil's advocate here, Dr. Yan, the charges against, or the criticism against you is this, that you did not go for a peer review, that your study may have a negative impact on the efforts to fight this pandemic. The University of Hong Kong, where you were doing your research, said that you never conducted any research on human-to-human transmission of the coronavirus and that your claims have no scientific basis. Why do you think so many scientists from the world over are challenging what you're saying?
Because Chinese Communist Party are scared of the fact, and also their friends, they're scared of the fact are revealed that at that time they will be blamed. What I can tell you is you can go to search my paper. They said I'm just a hamster keeper. I'm someone who knows nothing. But I have the co-first author paper in Nature, which is a good paper recommended by excellent by the scientists for the animal model and the transmissional model in COVID-19. And I have a very high citation Lancet infectious disease paper in COVID-19. I also have my patent for the universal influenza vaccine on pending. All this together show if Hong Kong you deny my work, that's hilarious, and I have evidence that I was secretly signed for this investigation. Also, my report was read by the relevant people in U.S. government even before I published it, and the feedback, all the positive, strongly supported it. So no matter whether this criticize me in no peer review or nonsense things, I can tell you that this paper is already read by the people who are qualified and acknowledge it.
Your paper and your co-authors have been linked to what is called the Rule of Law Society. It's a political organization. It is not a research organization. It is linked to exiled Chinese billionaire Gul Wengui and Steve Bannon, the former chief strategist of U.S. President Donald Trump. And experts say that this affiliation of yours is a conflict of interest. What are your links with the Rule of Law Society, and why do you need the support of a political organization for a research project?
I have to explain that this is nothing about politics, just people related to politics. So if they criticize the foundation, what I can tell you is from the July, in the first interview in Fox News, I already told people I can escape from Hong Kong, escape from the surveillance from Hong Kong and the Chinese Communist Party government to U.S. It's because the foundation, Rule of Law Foundation, helped me. That is a foundation that people try to reveal the truth to anti-Chinese Communist Party and donate the money to do it. They help the people like me who want to reveal the truth and fight with the evil regime. So for me, that is the organization which has saved my life from many, many people behind. They pay the money and even pay their life to help me out to tell the truth to the world. Without their help, I cannot stand out, and people may never know that there is a witness who want to reveal the things to anti-Chinese Communist Party to the world. And to link me with a political purpose is very hilarious. Let's say, did Harvard get money from the Chinese Communist Party before? Or could MIT deny that? So those scientists work in those institutes. I mean, they also get money from China, from Chinese Communist Party. So can we say they have the political purpose just because they got money support their research. So, and also, I left Hong Kong. How could I put institute under the University of Hong Kong or other institute? That's nothing about the fact in my paper. That's just a thing to tell people that I appreciate those people who helped me come out to give me the chance to tell the world.
Very interesting. Dr. Yan, a lot has been written about China funding think tanks and media organizations. Now you're saying China may be influencing social media giants as well. Can China, according to you, also influence studies and findings on the Wuhan virus?
So can you repeat again? Sorry.
I'm saying that there's a lot that has been written about China's funding and influence on the press, on think tanks, on institutes. You're saying they're influencing social media giants. Do you believe the Chinese state can also influence studies and research on the Wuhan virus?
Of course. I've been there for many years. I studied, get my MD, PhD degree from the 2 top medical universities in China. I knew many people have my vast network in hospitals and in institutes, including the army ones, also the authorities in China. And also I work in Hong Kong for many years, now 8 years almost, and in the WHO lab for over 5 years. So all my experience and my knowledge can tell you Chinese Communist Party's money and power influence the whole world far more beyond your imagination. And they are using a very, hidden way. And even some people, they get influenced, but they don't understand. Or finally, when they realize they have conflict of interest, but they cannot tell it out, or they are scared of these things. And of course, there are people who are innocent. But what I want to tell people is, from me, this example, you can see how powerful they influence the whole world.
How much does China know about how to control the virus? Is this why China's numbers are lesser than the rest of the world? And if it is a lab-made virus, has the world been able to understand its threat properly?
Yeah, so that's the things I really hope people can investigate and understand it as soon as possible, because it related to everyone's health and future. So the first thing you have to remember that this is a lab origins one. It comes from the lab on purpose. So that means, first, we are the expert in the virology. We know there is never only one virus come out during some project at one time. Usually they have a group of virus candidates. And also, when they make this kind of gain of function project, they also will try other type of virus. So imagine this is just the first time, and this is already makes a historic pandemic. So what will happen later? Remember, the Chinese Communist Party government also warned the world that this one won't stop and this one will last. Another thing is you have to make the people who did it accountable, not only the scientists who work together with them. Also, this regime, the Chinese Communist Party, is the reason did it. So you have to hold it accountable to get the voices of things happened again. And the third thing is go to do the thorough investigation in those labs. And you will see that there may be some more and more evidence to show it and to let people understand the virus. Then you can find out the way to finally solve this problem.
Right. You were told by your seniors in the University of Hong Kong to not cross the red line. You must have seen the fate that other Chinese whistleblowers met, like Dr. Li Wenliang of Wuhan, and yet you chose to come out and tell your story. Why did you do this, Dr. Yan?
Just because I'm the doctor and I'm the scientist. When I say the fact, when I got the information and I have my knowledge, I understand, I knew what it is. And I say WHO and overseas experts who I respected before, there is no response from them. And the Chinese Communist Party, they try to use this way to check the world. I mean, this is urgent time at that time. Back to the January 17th, I made the decision to deliver the message out by myself. So I contact Mr. Lude to help me deliver it through the YouTube, because I want the world to know the truth. At that time, it was the Chinese New Year transportation period. Wuhan was the biggest hub in the world. Imagine those people travel around without any protection and surveillance. This virus will be spread to all over China and all over the world. And the overseas expert has to push the Chinese Communist Party to do the investigation and to admit the things, to hold it in control. That is what I said, and also I did through Moodle's YouTube in 19th January. I know this will give me the life-threatening to me, to my family, but no choice. If I don't do it at that time, I will be regretful in my life, and I know I will lose the capacity to tell the truth in the future in my life.
I was going to ask you, do you feel your life is under threat? It clearly is. What do you plan to do next, Dr. Yan?
So first, I will publish the second scientific report soon as possible. And also, at the same time, I'm collaborating with relevant people in U.S. and I will provide, and I have already provided many evidence. And I hope to push these things to the right direction, make more and more people see clearly what it is, why you are all involved into this horrible pandemic. And it should have been, get avoided from the very early beginning. No one should lose their life. No one should get hurt in this pandemic. And finally, I hope people to understand that who should be accountable and understand that Chinese Communist Party is an evil regime. We should work together to push to the real origin and the fact of COVID-19 and hold the people who did it accountable and the regime which did it accountable.
Do you believe the world will listen to whistleblowers like you? Do you believe that China will be held to account for this pandemic?
I cannot control the other people. What I can do is I provided evidence. I try my best to tell it out, and people can verify my evidence, but not let me keep silent in Twitter and Facebook, which is very unfair. So I wish to do my best from the beginning to now, even in the late future. To let people know the things, and people verify it by yourself. You can choose which side you want to listen to. That's your right. But the thing is, you have to have the right to know the two sides, the voice, and know the things from people like me.
Dr. Li Mengyan, thanks very much for joining us here on WION, and stay safe.
Thank you, Paki.
We're taking a very short break. The news continues here on WION. Thanks for watching.